And this
is and this
is gabbing.
It's a beautiful Sunday.
It's a beautiful Sunday. It's 50 degrees out, and I'm feeling feral. Hello, Hales.
Hi, Leon.
Today, our subject is. Would you like to say it?
Yes, our subject today, we're going to gab about school bus trauma.
School bus trauma, which I think a large portion of the United States can understand.
I hope so.
Yeah, genuinely. Because if you didn't have a little scrape on the school bus, I don't really know what your character.
And what was it all for?
And what was it all for? And like, how did it influence you in your adulthood?
Yeah, if you didn't take the bus to school and have to deal with social hierarchy on the open roads, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know when you ever will. It's an experience like no other. I can't think of another experience where so much social pressures and norms are going 65 on an open road. Kind of cool. But yeah, we're going to go into that today. And that we're going to go into everything about that. Little stories back and forth.
Like the first story that comes to mind when I think about the school bus is I'm from a 500-person town, so the school bus was the only way to get to school because my parents would not drive me. That being said, you think of like the people on that bus, and like, you know, it's the age range of like fucking K through 12. So of course, the hot 8th graders that I was in love with as a 6th grader would sit in the back of the bus. So I would always try and sit near them. But there was this one period where I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed with this boy named Ethan. And yes, terrible. Ethan would skate outside of like the telephone office in town.
The telephone office in town?
Yes, it's a 500-person town. We had a telephone office and a savings bank and a library and one gas station. And that's it. That's it. We didn't have like a metro. We just had like Titanca Burt Communications, which is what it was called, because it's just so bumfucky. But he was so hot to me, and he like skateboarded and like would play guitar. But basically, there was this one time where it got to a point where I was actively staring at him all the time on the bus, not and talking to him. And
I
also,
really
like,
I want to note that your eyes are massive.
Like,
you have massive
I was like,
eyes. Yes.
And but the thing is like, it's not. I'm not just interacting with him on the bus. Like, we go to church together. Like, we're active in each other's lives. So I'm just like staring, just staring because I'm obsessed with him. And him and this freshman in high school were like, oh, you know that person? They're the ugliest fucking person on the face of this planet, and they're annoying as fuck. And I wish they would stop bothering me. Like, they verbally said that. Like, pretending that I wasn't there, but like directly looking at me. And it was just so humiliating. And then I sat at the front of the bus for a really long time. Until the end of the year. And then next year, like, he got a car or whatever, and then you could drive at 14. So like, see ya. But
drive
damn.
At 14?
Yeah, I've been driving since I was 14.
I thought you had to drive like, never mind. I thought it was like with an adult or something, but I guess Iowa is different. Did you ever have like closing remarks with Ethan?
No. I did, like, we grew older, and like, you know, we'd go to like similar like friends' weddings and shit, and like we know each other now. Not like after I came out as trans. After I came out as trans, nobody no. But I did fuck.
You did what now?
Literally, like, so Ethan had a best friend named Will, and later on in my adulthood, I would sleep with Will because I had a crush on both of them. You know, and no one was safe from me having a crush on them. But anyway. Beware your middle school crushes, because they will come back to try and fuck you, dude.
Oh God, I hope.
Straight up.
I remember like my bus route. I had a shit ton of popular kids on my bus route. I was so annoyed, but there was this one girl, let's call her Summer. If you know, you know. But so when it was Summer's birthday, every one of her friends decided to give her like a giant ass Mylar balloon. And so she's like going around school all day. I don't know if your school did this, but whenever it was like the popular kids' birthdays on campus, they would have like a bunch of balloons and walk around. And it was a way to like draw more focus that it's their birthday and it's their day. You know what I mean?
No, we did not have that.
Oh shit. Yeah. Kids were so annoying at my school. They were like, I'm carrying around balloons. It's my birthday. And like the more balloons you had showed how many people loved you. Like I think it's so fucked now thinking about it. But it was like the more balloons you had, the more popular you were on your birthday.
No, that's actually literally terrible. I don't think I could have survived that. Genuinely.
So many fucking days where it's like, oh, there's a bitch with a bunch of balloons. Get out of her way. But essentially, like on the bus ride home, she was sitting a few rows ahead of me. I usually sat in the very back of the bus, and her balloons, the windows were down because it's Southern California, it's summertime. So the Mylar balloons are just hitting me in the head.
What
all bus ride long. I literally have to go like this, like doing my hands up, like against the balloons.
That's fucking insane. Just like thinking about it's always at a cost.
Yeah. She went on like when she turned 16, her parents got her a brand new Mercedes convertible.
And
like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like that type of vibe. Atrocious. Yeah.
I would always
We could go on another tangent about like birthday culture at my high school. It's so weird.
That's interesting. I would love to talk about like Sweet 16s and what they looked like in Southern California culture because that's interesting. Yeah, what the fuck? That's really interesting. But like what was like the status quo of your bus? Like so we're talking about Summer with all of her balloons, but right. You like talk about like having so many popular kids on your route.
Yeah, there was like a whole cheer team on my bus, and then like other like lacrosse boys. And then there were a few anime kids on the bus. Shout out anime kids on the school bus. We are allies to them.
Can we get a round? Actually, can we get a round of applause for anime kids? An underrepresented minority. Go ahead.
Underappreciated.
Yeah, deeply.
And then I'm like trying to think, who did I talk to on the bus? I feel like I just listened to music the whole time, or I like would talk to people who are at the same stop as me. But I do know that if you wanted to get on another bus, because there was like 6 different buses that went to different neighborhoods. Say if you wanted to go to your friend's house and you wanted to just go on their bus, the bus drivers acted like it was bringing a gun to the airport. Like they were like, shut it down. Who are you? Like, I know you say you're an 8th grader, but what if you are a really dangerous person? I can't let you on the bus. No.
Interesting. Because for us, it would be like the bus drivers would be like, are you sure? And then we'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, okay, whatever.
No, there was not one single bus driver that was chill about it. And I guess it makes sense in the sense of like keeping tabs of where minors are, but like fuck off. I promise you, mommy does not care.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 9 times out of 10. But I can't imagine being a bus driver and dealing with a parent who is like, where's my child? Where's my child?
God. Oh my God. Yeah. But I would say my regular bus driver was a really cool dude. I feel like he reminded me of Damien from Mean Girls. And the reason why he was like, I think he was the one I would talk to the most because he had a Paramore Honda Civic Tour shirt. And he always wore aviators and he had a faux hawk. His name was John. And I was like, hey, listen, my guy, we are like seriously 2 wolves. We're so similar. We run in a pack.
We are 2 wolves in the same body, and it is this bus.
Yes.
And we're not fighting. We are actually partners. Yes. No, absolutely. My bus driver was, his name was Paul, and he was just this bald, old fucking grandpa man, and he owned the pizza shop in the city, it's not a city, in the 6,000 person town that I went to high school in. And so yes, and so he would always get us pizza on the last day of school. And then as I grew up, I would become friends with his son as a child. Whatever, I did like community theater, so we all did community theater together. But like, Paul rocked. Paul was so chill. He just like talk like this, and like if he would do this thing where like you did not want to have, because he would have like the radio. He'd be like, I swear to God, if you guys don't sit down, I
Oh
swear
my
if you don't,
God.
I will, like, he was like, I will call each of your parents right now. I do not care. I'll have my phone out on the road. Like, he did not care. He did not care. And also, like, in the summer, we couldn't have the windows down because then, like, because we would be on gravel and stuff.
Yeah, so the
So
dust and everything.
we would just bake in that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Evil. Evil. Yeah, such chill
Damn.
vibes. But what would your, so like, okay, so Paramore Honda Civic Tour, would your bus driver have like some chill beats or like what's up?
So he only ever put on like the pop current hit station, you know what I mean? I think it was 93.3 in San Diego. Obviously, like
93.3.
I was more of an FM 94.9
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
If you know, you know, Brunch with Bob and Friends. But the like 93.3, I think every single day for 2 years heard Love the Way You Lie by Eminem and Rihanna.
Nice.
It's actually a perfect song and a better music video.
Yeah, actually that's the best song actually I think in the discography of the past 20 years.
25.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But I think that played every single day that I was alive on that bus.
Every single day.
Every single day. That and like Beautiful Girl by Bruno Mars and maybe like some One
Yeah.
Direction, but it was like, oh, like Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like early Blue Slide Park, if it did play on the radio.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But I think that would be just like that was the music I was listening to on the bus.
That's amazing. We did not have that in North Central Iowa. In North Central Iowa, you had like the three stations. You had 92.7, which was hometown radio, and it would play a mix of 80s and 90s music. Or you had like the country station, which is it's like the Country Moose, and that's what it was called. Or you had 94.5, which was like a mix of like pop music, just like, you know, a lot of Rob Thomas. Like all they would play was like Rob Thomas. Like, do you know Rob Thomas?
No.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay, cool. So Rob Thomas,
like Santana?
yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. No, you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Because like, you know, like that song that's like, the diamonds on the floor. I can't take no more. Diamonds on the floor.
I just listened to a cover of that song yesterday.
Yeah, that song changed me.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Where Is the Love, though.
Yes, totally. But like this, like, but like 94.5, it'd be like 94.5 pop country and whatever the fuck. And also Rob Thomas. And they would always like really, for some reason, it would always be central to Rob Thomas. But anyway, Paul really liked to just play country. So it was mostly country all the time, no matter what. Did not really matter. He didn't give a fuck. So it was a lot of like Luke Bryan, Country Girl, Shake It For Me. You ever heard that song?
Yeah.
Crazy. And then and then I'm just like Kenny Chesney, dude. But also like really interesting because most of country music is like really like kind of sexual, mostly sexual, genuinely. Because it's all about picking up chicks.
Especially if it was like country music, pop country from like 2005 to 15. Because I feel like that subgenre of music was trying to mirror the subgenre of rap music at that time. That was also like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I mean it very much so because
Everybody
they were trying to.
Nipsey.
Yes, absolutely, like hip hopifying country, which is
and
just
also like post 9/11. Everyone, doesn't matter if you listen to hip hop or country, you were drinking.
What's that? What's that motherfucker's name that just died? Toby Keith. Bitch.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he's dead. Bitch. We support the chick.
I actually have like a I don't want to say a connection to country music, but my family loves country music. So I feel like I do have like some good memories here and there with it, but like overall, rough. And honestly, I did I ever tell you how I got my first period?
Please, please tell.
It was at a campground country music festival in the middle of the mountains in Colorado. And it was in the middle of the summer, 110-degree weather, and I got my period for the first time. Covered in dirt and dust and bleeding for the first time, scared I was going to get pregnant, watching Rodney Atkins. These are my people. This is where I come from.
That's insane. I can't, first of all, being in the heat, being on the rag for the first time, all these changes in your body, all
being
these
on
things,
the rag in the heat, being on the rag in the heat in general is a terrible experience. Doing it for the first time,
so overwhelming.
Yes.
So overwhelming. So overwhelming. See, I was grateful that I was born the way that I was because, I've never been diagnosed with OCD, but I worry a lot. And I have intrusive thoughts that are like, if you're not prepared for this, you will die. So when I was a kid, I practice inserting tampons before I even got my fucking period, dog. Yeah. 10,000.
Oh, no.
10,000. 10,000. So I was always prepared. And like, I can't even remember the first time I got my period because I think I just got my period and then I already knew what to do. And then I was like, what's up, mom? Just want to let you know I got my period. And she's like, okay. And I was like, cool. Thumbs up. But it was like in a controlled environment. I can't imagine being in fucking like, I'm sorry, that just sounds like war to me.
I was so bummed about was I didn't get to swim in the creek. I loved swimming in the creek as a kid, catching crawdads. I didn't get to do that. I was the only kid that didn't go in the creek.
That sucks because it's like once you go in the water, it's not like your blood comes out because of like the Pascali effect.
That's what my aunt told me, and I eventually did go in. But for the longest time, I was like, I can't. I was like just putting my feet in, and I was like,
That sucks. Like a sad puppy dog.
Literally.
Yeah.
Fur.
Sad puppy dog that just wants a beef stick. Sad little girl who just wants to swim.
Yeah, and I remember I was just like so scared that I was on my period because there were so many like boy cousins there that I just like stayed by my aunt the entire time, and we were with some of their like family friends, and I think the other parents that were there that were camping with us because their kids were friends with my cousins. I don't know if they were like, I think they ended up divorcing, but I remember the mother, she was just like sitting by my aunt. She was really quiet and looked upset. And I was like, Tony, your hair looks beautiful today. And she goes, well, thank you. I really needed that.
Yeah.
And then she ended up divorcing his ass. Yes, Tony.
Yes, Tony. I love women named Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony Collette. I had a friend named Tony in college. Tony. We love Tonys. That's fucking amazing, especially because, like, even in your experience of adversity, you recognize that an act of service to another person actually made you feel better in that moment. And I think that's amazing. Yeah.
I think it was just my ability it was easier for me to talk to the adults than the kids at any event.
I mean, that was just me at all times. Yeah. That was me at all times. Additionally, I think like, especially because like my mom and my dad really didn't play the mommy and daddy roles. So I was always like, where's my new mommy and daddy? Can somebody else be my mommy and daddy?
If an English teacher is nice to me, watch out, bitch. You're my new mom.
Straight up. But like, but this week I had to like really, because I'm taking this class on like childhood and adolescent psychology, and I had to go through the long list of what child maltreatment looks like and the signs and symptoms. And one of them is really fast connections with adults, new adults and strangers. And I went,
improv on there too.
Right. I think that's a sign in adulthood, but specifically in childhood.
Yeah.
Wowie wow.
Hey.
Wowie wow. I went, yeah, that's it. But yeah, and you know, and then you get into adulthood and we're still looking for mommy and daddy, right? Some of us marry our mommies and daddies. So how about
Damn.
that? How about that?
Damn.
We're always looking for that nurturance. And
Mhm.
some people find it in the bottom of a bottle, and some people find it in a lovely lady. And that should be a country song. I'm looking for my mama and daddy. Yeah, no, that was too much. You're right. That was too much. But yeah. But yeah, fucking cheers, dude. It's like so funny
Yeah.
that like all of these things are can be like connected or born from just talking about what it was like to ride the bus as a
Yeah.
child.
And now I love riding the bus, unless I'm high.
And then it becomes your prison. And then
Yeah.
it's like, wow, it's like, you know, like that water terror
Yeah.
torture device. That's how it
Yeah.
feels. Like every time I hit a bump on the bus and I'm high,
Mm-hmm.
so many times I've had to get off the bus because I think I'm going to puke because I get too high on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just like, being perceived on the bus high is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, I think. It's
Yeah.
obviously not, but you know what I mean? Like in that moment, I'm like, oh no, 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 no.
I'm like,
begging
it's like,
them to see me.
it's interesting because it's that thing of like, listen, you put me in battle, I'll probably be fine. But if you put me in a social situation where I have to be perceived and I'm like
Oh,
fucked
knock it
up,
off.
and then I'm like, you know, the weed makes you anxious, and then you're like in your head and you're like, all these people are staring at me.
Yeah.
They want me to die. Like that's where I lose my fucking mind. But
Yes.
you put me in a stressful ass situation, like you need me to mediate two parties, I can do that.
I will flourish.
I'll flourish, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my venture card doesn't work on the first tap. I'm losing my fucking mind.
No.
That's the worst fucking. That is the worst fucking thing. When you go up and you just put money on the card, and then the card isn't working, and then the bus driver's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And then you go, "Well, can I just get on?" And then they're like, "No, no." And then you have to beg everybody. I've had to do that. I've had to beg everybody on the bus, like, "Can somebody please just like tab me? Like, I will Venmo you $5 if you just let me on this bus because I'm late for work." And they're like, "No," and I was like, "What?" Anyway,
For real?
that has been me. That's why every time somebody really has like a fuck ass, like the bus
Fuck
driver's
ass
like,
Bob. Whenever someone has a fuck ass Bob on the bus,
well,
I
whenever
say,
we
"Thank
have a
you."
fuck ass bus driver who's like, no, you can't get on for free. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll tap you in, brother. Like I will tap you in. Like that's
Yeah.
fine. I got you. But yeah. I love you.
I love you.
Thanks for
I love
gabbing with
you.
me.
Thanks for gabbing with me. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.